From beloved sports icon to prime suspect in a double murder, O.J. Simpson made headlines from coast to coast. On June 12, 1994, the former NFL star was arrested for the gruesome murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. Overnight, Simpson went from celebrated athlete and actor to infamous murder defendant, and the trial that followed captivated the nation. Throughout the summer of 1994, millions of Americans were glued to their television sets as the world's media offered minute-by-minute coverage of the unfolding drama. Cameras documented every key moment, including Simpson's surreal, low-speed police chase in a white Ford Bronco and the angry outbursts that marked his first court appearances. Along the way, the former football great became both a symbol of celebrity excess and a lightning rod for racial tensions. And when the trial finally concluded in October 1995, the verdict shocked the nation. But what really happened during the O.J. Simpson trial? To find out, we talked to criminal defense attorney Nima Rahmani. Here is the O.J. Simpson trial that shook America. O.J. Simpson rose to fame as a star running back with the Buffalo Bills and San Francisco 49ers during his 11 seasons in the NFL. Simpson rushed for more than 11,000 yards and scored more than 60 touchdowns. He also gained fame through numerous television commercials and as the star of several films, including The Towering Inferno and the Naked Gun series. By the early 1990s, Simpson was a household name, and few people knew him other than as a jovial, larger-than-life figure. In April 1992, however, that image was shattered when Simpson was arrested for domestic violence after an altercation with his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. According to Nicole, she and O.J. were attending a party in a friend's house when Nicole decided to leave. As she walked to her car, Simpson allegedly approached her, grabbed her by the hair, and dragged her toward a bedroom. When Nicole resisted, Simpson slapped her across the face and broke her nose. Ultimately, the charges against Simpson were reduced to spousal battery, and the couple entered into a confidential settlement agreement in March 1993. The couple officially divorced, and as part of the arrangement, Simpson was prohibited from seeing Nicole and their two young children unless supervised by a third party. On June 12, 1994, Simpson would be seen by one of these third parties for the last time. Late in the afternoon, Simpson arrived at Nicole's house to pick up the kids for a scheduled visit. But when Nicole answered the door, Simpson lost his temper and demanded to speak with her directly. One of Nicole's friends witnessed the confrontation and reported hearing Simpson yelling and making threats. Then around 10:45 p.m., a neighbor reported hearing screams and a woman's voice saying, "Get off me." Simpson then drove away from the house. When Simpson failed to return the kids at the scheduled time, Nicole called police to report her ex-husband was late and possibly intoxicated. Around 11:20 p.m., officers responded to a call reporting a white Ford Bronco had crashed into a curb near Nicole's home. However, when they arrived at the scene, they found no suspects and no victims. But at 11:48, officers received a call reporting a man and a woman had been stabbed multiple times inside a condominium complex less than a mile away. When they arrived at the scene, the officers found the bodies of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman lying in a pool of blood on the sidewalk outside Nicole's home. Both victims had been stabbed multiple times and their throats had been slashed open. Simpson's blood-stained sports shirt was found nearby, along with a pair of socks that matched the tread pattern on Simpson's Bronco. Police also discovered that Simpson had made multiple calls to Nicole's home on the night of the murder. Initially, Simpson denied involvement in the crime, but investigators soon began focusing on him as the prime suspect. When investigators learned that Simpson had suffered a cut on his right index finger in the weeks prior to the killings, they surmised that this wound may have been sustained when breaking into his ex-wife's condo. They also noted that Simpson owned a pair of gloves, similar to those found at the crime scene. To see if there was a match, police asked Simpson if he would be willing to come in and try them on. Unsurprisingly, Simpson refused. And after learning that Simpson had fled to his father's house, authorities obtained a search warrant and tracked him down. On June, Simpson was placed under arrest. He was charged with 2 counts of murder and bail was set at $25 million. The next day, the press descended on the Simpson family estate, but Simpson had already gone. As rumors spread that he had fled the country, authorities announced they had found him at an airport, hiding in a suitcase. Though he was reportedly surrounded by family members, Simpson made no attempt to resist arrest. As photographers snapped pictures, he told the cops, "It's getting real ugly." After being returned to Los Angeles, Simpson was booked and released, becoming the subject of one of the most intense media spectacles in American history. As he left the courthouse, his entourage of lawyers, publicists, and advisors struggled to keep him from speaking to reporters. But when asked if he had killed Nicole Brown Simpson, Simpson famously replied, "If I did it, you wouldn't have a trial, would ya?" As Simpson prepared for trial, he assembled a team of high-powered attorneys, led by Johnny Cochran. Prosecutors argued that Simpson was a violent, jealous ex-husband who had murdered Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman in cold blood. Evidence included DNA tests showing that blood found at the crime scene matched Simpson's. However, Simpson's defense team portrayed him as the victim of police misconduct, alleging that the LAPD had planted evidence and targeted him because of his celebrity status and race. They also pointed out several alleged inconsistencies in the prosecution's theory of the case. To make matters worse for the prosecution, Los Angeles Police Department Detective Mark Foreman took the stand and testified that he had never planted any evidence at the crime scene. This came as a surprise to many because in the years prior, Foreman had admitted to having planted evidence in several cases. While being questioned by Courtroom, Foreman denied planting evidence, claiming that he hated O.J. Simpson and that he wished something bad would happen to him. Courtroom was able to use this testimony to cast doubt on the integrity of the investigation. In an effort to bolster its case, the prosecution called a pair of FBI agents to the stand. They explained that they had conducted their own DNA test and determined that the blood found at the crime scene was a match for Simpson. Despite this seemingly conclusive evidence, the jury ultimately acquitted Simpson of both murder counts on October 3, 1995. The O.J. Simpson verdict sparked outrage across the United States. Many African Americans saw the decision as a victory against decades of racial injustice. Others were outraged by what they saw as blatant police misconduct. In response to the verdict, New York Times columnist William Safire wrote, "We are all poorer now, for the verdict today has impoverished the language. Words like lie, cheat, and steal are now tainted by association with the celebrity defendant. And the word racism is so overused that it has become meaningless." In the years since the trial, new evidence has emerged that may help explain what happened. In 2006, two writers published a book entitled Without a Doubt, which contained new DNA testing results that suggested Simpson's blood was 170 times more likely to be present at the crime scene than any other individual. In 2016, an episode of the TV series The People v. O.J. Simpson revisited the case and attempted to shed new light on the verdict. According to Conan O'Brien, the show's executive producer, the goal was not to definitively state whether or not O.J. Simpson was guilty, but instead to explore the historic impact of the trial itself. "This is a true story about events that actually happened," he said. "And yet the further we dug into it, the more we realized that this is a story that couldn't have happened today. And I don't mean because of the cell phones and the internet. I mean, this is a story that could never have happened in this country if it hadn't been for the unique circumstances of the 1990s. Was O.J. Simpson guilty or innocent? What do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one.